It's the time of year when many high school seniors are looking forward to graduation and heading off to college, and parents are left scratching their heads figuring out how to pay for it all. One way to fund college is using a 529 plan. As of last year, there were over 16 million active 529 accounts nationwide, totaling $508 billion. The average account balance was around $30,000, but 54% of parents recently surveyed aren't even aware of these 529 plans. So how do they work, and is it something that you should consider? Certified financial planner Regina McCann Hess can shed some light on the issue. She's the founder of Forge Wealth Management in Malvern. Regina, thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
So 529 plans, what are these things?
They are a vehicle to save for college. So you put your money in and they grow tax deferred, just kind of like a 401k would.
Okay.
And then when you take the money out, as long as it's spent for college related expenses, it is tax free. And college related expenses could be tuition, room and board, books, computers, things like that.
So it's not just the classes themselves?
No,
okay.
Let's expand it.
Because this money is being invested in these accounts, does it grow faster than, say, I just leave it in a savings account somewhere?
Well, it just depends on how you invest it. So like I said, you compare it to a 401k, there's a roster of investments that you can choose from. You can pick and choose the equity funds or the bond funds, or you can pick age-based. If you're not the type of person who wants to pick your own funds, you can say, okay, well, my kid is 0 to 5, so I want to be in that bucket. And then as your child ages, it automatically switches every time they hit an age band, so that the younger they are, the more equity is in there. The closer they get to college, then that becomes more fixed income.
And less aggressive.
Less aggressive, yes.
So now who can set up a 529 count?
Anyone who wants to.
Wow.
As long as you're over 18, right?
Okay.
So I have them for my children. I also have one for my niece. Grandparents can set one up for you.
Oh, I'd love that.
There's no age limit.
Thank you. I'll be going to school shortly. So, and how do you do that? You just reach out to it. Are these operated by the state? Each individual state has them? So
the 529 plans are run by mutual fund companies, and there's many mutual fund companies out there, but they represent a state. So I know that different states have different representatives. Okay. And in Pennsylvania, it doesn't matter which 529 plan you use, you still get the state tax deduction for contributing to the plan. Okay. But in other states, you do need to use the plan that's related to your state in order to get that tax deduction.
So you have to check these things in advance.
Yes.
But if I'm living in Pennsylvania and my kid wants to go to school in South Carolina, that's fine.
Yeah, for the 529 plans that you're contributing money to, you're not buying prepaid units or, courses or whatever. It's dollar bills, and whatever dollar bills are available, that's what will pay your tuition.
Is there a limit as far as what you can put into these plans?
Yeah, so right now the gifting amount is $19,000 per year. So if there's a spouse, you can put $38,000 in per year. You could also front load the contribution. You could put 5 years worth of gifting right now into the 529, front load it, and just let it sit. Now, obviously, you won't be allowed to gift to those children for the next 5 years to offset that.
And who would do that? Is that like maybe say I get a sales bonus or something like that, a big chunk of money, just throw it in and then just let that thing work on its own?
Yeah.
So the key question, though, is what happens if you save all this money over the years and then your child doesn't go to college? What are the options there?
Right. Well, one thing, if they go to a trade school or something like that, that also works for that tuition. But if they do not go to any school whatsoever, you could then change the beneficiary to the next child in your family. Okay. You could even do nieces and nephews. The thing, it will become taxable if you go down a generation, though.
Oh, okay.
A gift tax. There'll be a gift tax.
Okay. And what about, say you only have one child, that child doesn't want to go to school, has, doing their own thing. Can you use this for any other purposes later on down their life?
Sure, you can, but then the distributions become taxable. Okay. And if you, at that point, you may want to make it so that they're the owner, so it comes out taxable at their income versus your income. If you're still the owner, it's going to be taxable to you. Okay. And I heard one of the options is rolling it over into an IRA. Yes. So I like the idea of when your kid's done college and there's extra money, you can roll some of that over to a Roth IRA. It's $7,000 per year, up to $35,000 max. Okay. However, there's some rules rules with that. You have to have had the 529 plan open for 15 years.
Okay.
And you cannot have contributed to that plan for the previous 5 years.
Okay.
So you kind of let it sit there, let it cook, and then in 5 years, you can then start your conversions.
Now, a lot of people are concerned, is this going to screw up my kid's ability to get some financial aid?
Yeah, everybody always worries about that. And the answer is yes, no. It's a gray area. But the biggest thing to remember is the asset is in the parent's name. So when they're applying for financial aid, the parent's asset are looked at 5.64% versus the child's assets are 20%. So if this was purely in the child's name, 20% would go into that fruition as opposed to 5.64. And if it's the grandparent who has the ownership of the 529, 0% goes into the financial aid application.
Now, obviously, the market's been going up, down, going crazy. Do you get a lot of calls of people worried about their kids' 529 plans at this point?
Yeah, of course. So the thing to remember here is it's also a good time to be buying into this type of market volatility. And if you're in a drip plan, like I do it, monthly. It's a monthly bill. And if it's going off automatically, you're buying and your dollar cost
over
averaging.
the course of 15, 20 years.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So you're not making that emotional decision. And then so therefore you're buying it while everyone else is running out of the building. You're running into the building, and a couple years later, it looks smart.
Again, it's like a 401k.
Yes.
What though, say my child's going to graduate high school this year and now in the fall is going to college. I mean, you need that money.
Yes. So as the kids get further and further into high school, that's when you want to start converting some of that into like the bond portion of the portfolio.
Which is the safest portion usually.
Yeah, well, I mean, it can still go up and down too, right? But it's considered less volatile than the equity market. So when the markets are a little volatile, like what we've done with our clients is when the markets are up, we take the tuition from the equity accounts because we're taking from gains.
Okay.
When the markets are down, we take it from the bond portfolio because there's less impact on that.
Very useful information. 529 plans. Hopefully everyone will benefit from this. Regina McCann Hess from Forge Wealth Management. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you.